Hey guys, this is Krystal Lucier here, also known as your Home Sweet Home 519 Realtor, Krystal Lee Moore with Roy LePage Triland Realty in London, Ontario, and this is Realtor Life, a fun and entertaining look at life in the trenches as a real estate agent in Ontario. So on this chilly London day, we're going to talk about moving into the holiday season. Last episode, we talked about the season of Thanksgiving and how we can make the world a better place. And now we're going to link that together with how we can use our natural love for supporting each other for business and for just overall life improvement, but especially in business. And we're going to talk about referrals, community, and philanthropy as an activity. So first, referrals. We always talk about referrals, but what actually are referrals? So as a real estate agent, a referral to another agent is where you actually introduce someone to that agent and you will be paid a referral fee. So there's no standard fee. Usually that fee is around 25% of the end of the one part. And it's kind of a give and take situation. So if you send a referral, then you'll get the 25. And if you get a referral, you give the 25. I've known agents in the past who sometimes don't like giving referrals. And I will say that this is the long game. We're playing the long game. If you are just in business for 1 year, absolutely don't worry about it. But if you're here for the long run, let's get you some business and let's get you supporting others. Because at the end of the day, are we working for ourselves? Technically, yes, but we are thriving with collaboration. Every deal I have done since 2020 has been the result of collaboration between myself and the other agent as well as the community. So that's a realtor to realtor referral. One of the ways that I've built my business, and as far as a background, just to catch everyone up, I've mentioned it before, but I have restarted my business 3 times. So I started as a realtor in Ottawa, Ontario in 2011, and that was me giving it a whirl while I worked full-time at a law firm as an employment law and marketing clerk. So I was working a very, very intense day job and trying to also do real estate. But I was doing pretty well with it, and I realized it was my network. I realized it a little too late, but the network itself, I didn't know how big of a deal that was. And when I took my business and I tried to start over in the fun little town of Guelph, Ontario in 2012, I quickly realized that not having a network was going to be a huge problem. And it took me 8 months to sell my first house. And in that 8 months, I did everything and tried to get out there and meet people. And what I realized after is what I was really doing is building a network. And my business grew and it became this wonderful, wonderful vehicle that I could explore as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as a community member. And I said, okay, I'm never, ever, ever leaving. And then life happens as it usually does. If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. And I ended up falling in love and getting married with a gentleman from London, Ontario, my husband, Brett Lucier, and we did it again. So I went 8 years in Guelph, and then I moved my business to London, Ontario, and basically just reapplied the formula, building that network. I tell you this more, as it's been said before, not to impress you, but to impress upon you the importance of a network. Because when I did that move from Guelph to London, my business did not even miss a beat. In fact, it got better. And the reason for that was my focus on not only other realtors, because other realtors are very important, both in your community and elsewhere, because that's where you would give out-of-town referrals, but you also need to work with the people in your community. The other referral group I'm talking about, though, are businesses. So when we're out there as a new realtor, it can be really easy to fall into the trap where you're just kind of hoping someone trusts you. Like, hey, can I have a referral? Can I have a referral? And unfortunately, no one's going to give you a referral. Maybe it could happen potentially, but they don't know you. And that's really not how you start a business relationship. So one of the things I learned very early on, and I definitely if you have not read Think and Grow Rich or How to Win Friends and Influence People, please put them on your list, because both of those books are so effective. But in How to Win Friends and Influence People, it talks about really when you're getting to know people, you want to use their name a lot, something I used to hate doing and hearing, but use their name a lot. And then you also just ask questions, learn about them, learn about their businesses. And what I started doing kind of, I'd say for about the last 10 years, is I've started to whenever I can, if there's a way for me to use the service of someone I meet, I try to do that. Because it really helps. Number one, it establishes a great rapport right away, but then you kind of get to find out what would you be referring someone to. So if it's a plumber, an electrician, if it's skincare, if it's a stager, whatever it is, if you're going to tell someone, hey, I think you should go there, you're going to put your name to it, you should kind of know what you're referring. And then they see that you're referring people to them. And so it's not necessarily an even give and take. You kind of you go out there and you give. It will come back to you. I promise you it will come back to you. And as you're giving, you might encounter, so in the last 10, 12 years I've been doing this, you might encounter people that are not, maybe they're not givers, they're more takers. And I mean, to each their own, maybe they don't need to give in their business, but if that's the case, then you can focus on people who are going to be giving. So the give and take is important, but just remember, you might not get something back directly from where you're giving it. And that's okay. You just have an attitude of giving and it will come back. And I think the saying is, you reap what you sow. And if you have an open heart and a giving heart, it will come back to you. So that's for the referrals. With client referrals, what we're always trying to do is remind our clients that we would love to help their family and friends and colleagues. Because a lot of the times, and unfortunately we hear about it a lot, people will do a great job for someone, great job, and then they don't really say anything. And a few months will go by and the client doesn't really know they're supposed to connect you with anyone. And then they'll be super excited to tell you that their friend also bought, but with someone else. So sometimes they have another realtor, that's fine. But just reminding our clients that we would love to help give their friends, families, colleagues, whoever, the same experience that they had can really help. So asking for those referrals from clients is key. So just to recap, we want realtor referrals back and forth, business community referrals back and forth, and client referrals. And those are all really important. And the biggest way for all of those to work is to stay in touch. We cannot expect people to remember us because people have enough going on. We need to be the ones reminding them. So then the next thing is community. So I mentioned in a YouTube video I just did that we do, as realtors, we create a home, and that's great and it's amazing. But what is a home without the community around it? And I shared a story. In London, Ontario, we have this thing called Lighting of the Lights. It went on pause during COVID, but Lighting of the Lights, we all get together in downtown London in Victoria Park, and there's caroling and music, and everyone gets together, and isn't it wonderful? And then we all do this countdown, and we do the countdown down from 10. And when we get to 1, 0, the lights go on, and it's amazing. So it's like all of the holiday lights on all the trees, and it's just such a cool thing to be part of. And you really just feel like you're part of the community in that moment. It's fantastic. And the other thing we try to do is we try to attend things in the community. We just went to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory at the Grand Theater, and let me tell you, big recommend. It was so good. It's going and sharing that experience with other people from London is fantastic. And because we went on the opening night, Posh Cheese Boards, so Penny and her crew did all of the like treats and stuff before the show. And they're so thematic. So this was like chocolates and treats. There was a Dunkaroo dip, which was amazing. And then after the show, they had Mark Farrat's chocolate. And it's just so nice, the little extras, because you just really feel that extra care and extra love. And that's just another example of a London business just crushing it. And big thanks to our friend Sarah Hilton for all she does at the Grand, and to the whole cast and crew of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. We loved it. So community. So when you're out in the community, what can you do to help? Another thing that I just did, if you have a farm area, and for anyone new, farm area has nothing to do with agriculture. It actually is your geographical farm. So for me, my farm is the Summerside neighborhood in London, Ontario. We live here. I'm absolutely in love with this neighborhood, and so always excited to support. This year, the community club reached out and asked if I could help with Santa Comes to Summerside. So I absolutely jumped in. I'm like, yes, please. And my job was to purchase items and create 100 little loot bags. Let me tell you, my living room turned into a little elves workshop for these cute little bags. It was a lot of fun to put them together, and even more fun when Santa and his elf were giving them out. But just to be part of that and show the community who I am authentically, and that is, I'm going to say, the most important. When you're doing anything, make it authentic. If you can bring your personality into it, then people really will respond, because you can't fake stuff like that. And if you could, you would fake it for a very short amount of time. Make it authentic and have some fun with it, because being part of the community, people can see you as their community realtor. They can ask you questions. And I always recommend to everyone, and I do this, be available for questions. Someone can come and ask you a question. Maybe they don't want to sell their house today. That's okay. Answer the question, be helpful, and just build that relationship. Because again, the giving, it will come around. It doesn't necessarily have to be from that person. And then finally, philanthropy as an activity. So when we're giving back is such a big deal, and we all want to give back. And I think as a community, as a culture, we all want to give back. And one of the things is sometimes you just don't know how or when or who or where or any of those things. So what I try to do, and a lot of us try to do, is we bridge the gap for people. And we say, hey, we get it. Everyone's busy, but you want to give. This is how you can give. So for example, at the Grand, we went to the Grand Theater, and right after the show, again, amazing show, but right after the show, Willy Wonka came out and he said, hey, the food bank in London is really experiencing a lot of volume lately. Could you guys spare some money to help us give them the extra money that they need? Because they're experiencing record high families coming in for food. And absolutely, so we were able to give, and we did. When I have networking, not working parties. So just to go back to the business community, my parties, I usually purchase items for the party from local businesses, usually my clients. So I'll have Rocky Mountain Chocolate bring out a charcuterie board, or cookies or muffins from Purple Lips Bakery. We'll have all that out, and then there's no fee to come. Everyone's invited to come and network. I usually prepare a pretty fun networking game because I'm good at them. And then the cost to come is just a donation. So you bring maybe a bag of food, maybe clothing, maybe toys, whatever you feel, and then we arrange to drop it off. So it really does help. And when we did this Santa Comes to Summerside, that's exactly what happened. It was like, you come to Summerside, there's no cost. Come see Santa, and please just bring us some food for the food bank. And so much was collected. So really, philanthropy as an activity is amazing because it helps people give back without kind of putting that extra pressure, making them figure out how to do it or where to do it, or is it enough? So you're adding a piece of community to those people around you. So we have referrals, community, and philanthropy as an activity. I hope that that was helpful. If anyone has questions, I'm always here to help. I am your home sweet home 519 realtor, Krystal Lee Moore, and I hope you have a fantastic day and don't work too hard.